All right, guys. My name is Vance Major, and I have my friend with me, Jeremy Minard. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hey,
And we are doing the commentary for the director's cut of Dreadnought Dominion. And I want to say thank you for having us on board and doing this for you guys. This is okay.
that's the best takeoff ever.
Right on, right on. Almost like Grissom there, rubbing my head, going, "What do I say? What do I say?"
Oh, totally.
Yeah, this actress here, I really enjoyed what she did with everything she did. Like she was a really good actress. I didn't notice it first couple times I'd watched Dreadnought Dominion, but you had brought it up when we were discussing it how she was just really a phenomenal actress. And when I went back after you and I discussed it, it did kind of blow me away. What was it like? What was it you were saying about how it's kind of hard when you're? What was it exactly you said about her performance that really blew you away about it?
Well, when I look at her, I didn't see some girl on the screen. I saw an admiral, and that's so important. If you can't, if you're playing a part, you need to be able to, play that part well, and she did it well. She did it amazingly. As I was sitting there watching this, I'm like, where did they find an admiral to play this part?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of like it's. You said something to the effect of, it's kind of hard to play against just kind of a backdrop screen, just kind of just against the screen. And I really do agree with that because a lot of people, even if you're in a scene by yourself, you have something to play off of. Whereas her, she really has nothing, so she's kind of just standing there, against nothing. And for what she's given, all she's got really is just her lines, and
Yeah.
it's just really good. Modern Star Trek, at least you've got a backdrop or you've got windows and you've got something where your eye can focus on. For her, all you really have is, her to act off of. You're just staring at her. So I think in that regard, she brings a level of professionalism to her role. I don't know if I would necessarily say admiral per se, but definitely professionalism, and I think it really bleeds through. It really bleeds through. Now that this is something right here. I don't know. I know they went back, and like I said, I've seen it a couple of times, but the CGI looks a little bit different. Um, I don't know if it was. It looks crisper to me for some reason. Like I said, I've seen this a couple of times, and when I just looked at it this time, I don't know if they enhanced it or if they kind of whitewashed it a little bit just to kind of give it a gloss over or something. I don't know. It looked to me cleaner. Um,
Yes.
and I don't know if it was just the fact that I knew that they had added audio to it or if they had. I don't know. Maybe it's just my interpretation of okay, we're getting a producer's cut. Um, yeah, not director's cut, producer's cut. Forgive me, producer's cut. Um, but yeah, I looking at the CGI on this, it looks a little bit fresher. Um,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed the design of the ship. Um, that was something that when I first seen the show, you see a lot of the ships these days, Constitution class ships or Constitution class refits, but I really enjoyed the Dreadnought class. I really enjoyed that. What did you think about the ship?
I like it. I'm with you. I'm glad that they chose another vessel, another class. It adds a little bit more of individualism to the series, and I love that.
Yeah, something that seems a little bit different rather than just your old, oh, let's redo this.
Yeah, they're showing another aspect of the universe, the Star Trek universe, and that's awesome.
Right. Well, back in the original series, all they had, they had to reuse a lot of props and they had to reuse, a lot of stock footage and whatnot. So all they had were, hey, we got, 13 Constitution class ships, and that's fine. But these days, we've got especially CGI, we can, kind of afford to, branch out and do a little bit different, have a little bit more variety out there. So I think anything that kind of makes you stand apart is a good thing, and this ship definitely stands apart,
Oh yeah, no, I agree. That budgeting back then was just so much harder for them. I mean, they barely survived the 3 seasons that they had.
Right.
So, you're right, with having the CGI and whatnot, it just opens the universe to any class of starship you really want.
Yeah, I don't think we ever would have seen this ship on in TOS. I don't think we would have seen this ship at all. I do believe this was in the manuals from back then. I had a book. I don't remember what it was, but when I was a younger kid, there was a book. I think it was The Making of Star Trek, and I would flip through it, and I saw all these other different designs for ships, and I always kind of looked past them because I was like, this isn't the Enterprise. Oh, this one isn't the Enterprise. This one isn't the Enterprise. But I remember seeing a ship that looked strikingly similar to this design, and so it always kind of struck with me. Even though, pardon me, even though at the time I wasn't really impressed with it, because this isn't the Enterprise. When I saw this one now, I can appreciate different ship designs. Now, as I've gotten older, but I do remember that from my childhood, so I can kind of appreciate that ship design a lot more. So, it's just one of those things where it's like it sets this series apart. It's not just another, hey, we've got a Constitution class as well. I really enjoy that. I like that.
Yeah. One thing I liked in the opening credits, and a little bit about beyond that now, is that they fact that in one of the shots they showed just a silhouette of the ship. I love that. It's different. Everything else, the ship is always nice and pretty and well lit. Just going through the credits, and that one showing just the silhouette was amazing.
Right. Well, and that's something also, with the ship, just the fact that the silhouette, you can instantly recognize it. It's instantly recognizable. That in itself is, not easy to do these days, where you look at something and you're like, I don't know what I'm looking at. You're not confused by looking at it. You're like, oh, I know what that is. And that it's not a stroke of genius, but it's really, really smart, so that's really
it's just one more thing to set them apart from the rest of the series.
Right. And that's the thing, like looking at this scene right here, this was actually part of, for those of you guys that don't know, this was actually the second episode of the show, and they actually had wanted it to be kind of a prequel to the first episode. This is the bar scene, of course, and they kind of wanted it to be kind of a prelude to the first episode. They kind of wanted to get to know the some of the characters a little bit more and whatnot, and the scene works well from a get to know the characters, kind of a fun type moment, just kind of a get to know the character type deal. I think for what works for me with this scene is I really enjoy the engineer. He's really a fun guy. It comes out in this, especially when he talks about, I like the little floaties in the drink. Humor in Trek doesn't really work well because a lot of times you have writers that they're not comedy writers, and they try to write humor, and a lot of the times it just falls flat. But I think with this show, they're trying to do something different, and they're trying to do something with heart. And whether they succeed or fail, that's up to the fan on what they prefer. But the thing that I think that works with this show is they're trying on so many different levels to see, okay, what do we feel comfortable with? And they have some interesting people and they have some interesting characters. Pardon me. The engineer character, I feel like he's a warm character that you feel like you instantly know. There's the executive officer. I feel also you feel like you know the character instantly when you meet him. And I don't know what exactly about those two characters in particular, but you instantly feel like you know those characters. I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I feel like I know them already. instantly when you meet him. Um, and another one that you feel like is the transporter chief. That guy right there. Um, some reason I just when I think that guy, he seems like a really good actor. I think he's one of the highlights of the show. And you'll find out more later on. I think he just does a really good job of conveying his father. I believe his father was killed during the mission that this whole ordeal was done. And I really think that story really should be touched upon. I think that's an interesting concept. The fact that the son now has to be on board the ship. And I think that guy, like, there's something in his eyes where he kind of, like, there's kind of an emotional scar. Like, look at his face right there. Like, it's just an emotional scar where it's like there's something troubled about him. He looks like he's a personal guy, but he looks kind of troubled. And I think they picked the right actor for that role. Not a lot of people could pull that off. A lot of people would try to walk in and try to be, a hardcore thug type guy, or I'm Mr. Hardcore. And this guy doesn't pull that off at all. He has the right kind of psychology for the role. Again, something that you can relate to if you've ever gone through trauma. I think that's very interesting. It's those type of concepts that I think that this show, if they delve into it and do it slowly, do it properly, that's what this show has to offer. It's those type of things where it's like, you read those type of things on paper and you're just like, yes, I like that. That's when people that read, novels, they sit there and they can read entire chapters about the psychology of characters like this. I mean, I eat that stuff up, man. I love it.
Shall I report to my post early? I think you're totally right with they're testing the waters, trying to find out not so much what they want, but what the show needs.
Right.
And they started it off on a really dark note. I mean, it starts off with him at his desk, waiting to find out if he's going to be thrown out of Starfleet or not. And then you find out the ship's been there's major trauma, and the ship's been, like, severely damaged. And I think the show's starting to take on a life of its own. And I think if they listen to that, listen to what the show needs, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
If they try to force it to go a different direction, I don't think it's going to work as well.
Well, and that's the thing. Like a lot of the fan films out there is repetition. They have, they have, they usually follow a formula. We have a captain that is either I'm Mr. Action Adventure, or I'm Mr. Emotionally scarred and damaged, or I'm Mr. By the book. It's like everybody follows a particular formula. My mentality is, forget the formula, write a good character, write a good story. It's like, figure out, find an interesting person and be like, base your character upon the person. Don't write it upon, stereotypes. And it's like, again, when, like going back to the transporter chief, everybody can relate to a character that has trauma. And to me, again, I really find that interesting that, the guy's dad died on the ship. And now the guy serves with the captain who his, basically, you guys, my dad died because of you guys. That's interesting. That's really interesting. That opens up some potential drama. Now this scene, the USS Saladin, and then upcoming is the USS Farragut. Those were two shows that were shot at Farragut Studios, I believe.
Oh.
And that was a those two shows are not the studio was bought out. So those two shows are no longer in production, but those were nods to those two shows. And I love things like that. I love things like that when they do like kind of crossover type deals or nods. I love nods like that because they're so subtle where it's like the average fan wouldn't even get that. But if you're in the know, you're like, oh dude, there's that. Oh dude, there's that. That's really cool. Like I think that's so cool,
Little nods like that are, for me, like the fanboy moment.
Right.
catch something at that. It's like, oh, they did this, and I
Right.
get way too excited, and I love those little nods.
Right. I tell you one thing that I think that's really beautiful, like right outside the front hole, the front view screen, right there. Like I love where the ship is. I think that's very, very beautiful. I don't know if that's CGI or a model, but that is just very beautiful. Um, just the way just the way, like how it's pulling in right there. I think I think that's really, really nicely done. The way it looks with the ship. Because it's one of those. It reminds me of like a real motion picture type deal. And even though they went around, the Enterprise refit, a million times, it was wonderfully shot and beautifully done. And I love space dock scenes when it's done properly. And I feel like this one, was actually done properly for a fan film. I think it was done properly. For what budget they had and what they could do and what they could accomplish, I feel like it was done properly. I think, especially for your first real look at the Dominion, I think it was really, really nice just to kind of see it subtly in the background. I think it looked really, really nice.
Yeah.
Trouble, Commander. What's the problem?
Yeah, I love those. I call them epic shots of the ships. I love that. It's like checking out a sports car. It's like your favorite sports car. You see all those great curves and lines, and I just love those kind of shots.
Right.
No, I meant the firing mechanism.
Just under a second.
So, this is kind of an interesting panel. We never really saw much of outside the shuttle bay on the original series, did we? We saw it in, what was that episode with Sarek and Amanda? What was that?
Welcome aboard, gentlemen.
What was that?
Babel?
Journey to Babel. Journey to Babel. Yeah, we saw it there, but is this very close to that, or is this? Because I don't recognize that wall panel like that. I mean, that looks really cool. But then I'm not very familiar with a lot of the classic original series. I've had to brush up.
That wall panel kind of reminds me of the wall panel they had in Space Seed.
Mm-hmm.
When they shoved Kirk in the pressure chamber.
Right on.
Kind of reminds me of that.
Right on. That's a beautiful hallway shot, I gotta say.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Just make me look good, or you'll find yourself.
See, that's something that we don't really get a lot of. See, a lot of the hallway shots. I kind of miss those old corridors.
I won't let you down.
Like I grew up on the Next Generation, so I never really got to enjoy the classic original series. I was offered the role for Starship Valiant, and so I went back and had to learn a lot about the original series. I loved the original movies like Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, but I never really got into classic Star Trek. I mean, of course, I loved Mirror Mirror, Trouble with Tribbles, Doomsday Machine, but I actually started getting into classic Trek, and then seeing stuff like this, like I eat it up now. But wow, that dude's really tall. He doesn't even need a ladder. He's just like, whoop, I got it. I can screw in the light bulb. It's good. It's good.
I really want to know how tall that guy is.
I don't know, dude. That is
7, maybe 6.5, 7 feet tall?
I don't know, dude. That is... He almost has to look down to fix the thing.
I'd fix that light bulb for y'all, but I'm just too tall to reach it.
That guy's gonna find us and be like, you guys weren't funny. I don't like that.
While the Starfleet investigation played out.
Normally that wouldn't bother me, but as tall as that guy is, he can leave my house in 5 minutes.
Now that it's here, it feels like I've returned home.
No, I tell you, man, being on the first time I walked on the bridge, you get goosebumps. I tell you, have you ever been on the bridge of the Starship? Of a Starship before?
No, not yet.
I tell you, it's honestly, it's one of the funnest things. To work on a fan film, it's one of the best things ever. You get goosebumps. And again, before any of this stuff started, I wasn't a big original series fan, but I got goosebumps just walking onto it, and I could imagine what these people went through, just being like, wow, we're involved. It's really really good stuff.
I'll tell you, when I got to edit that little piece of a fan film, and I started laying in the sound effects and stuff like that, I kind of had a moment there where it's like, oh my god, I'm actually working on Star Trek, and I kind of had to stop a little bit and pull myself back together again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like these people, these people are making Star Trek, and that's like a lot of people out there. They like to critique films and like to slander it and talk down to it. But like I love these films. I really, really do. I can sit there and I'll be on YouTube all day long and I'll watch them. It's like I've got Netflix, I've got Hulu, I've got DirecTV. Like I never watch DirecTV. In fact, my wife and I need to shut it off because I never watch it. I'm never home. But like I'll be on my YouTube on my phone at work and I'll just be watching these films and I do. I love them. I mean, like I said, I've watched this like 20 times. I watch them a lot, and I'm terrible with names, and I feel bad because for as much as I've watched this, I don't know many of their names. I know Grissom, that's about it. I know he's a Commodore, but it's because I know the ranks. But it's like I'm terrible with names. But
it takes me a few episodes of each like series before I start to know who's who.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things where it's like these people. They're making Star Trek, and for all the trash talk that people do, it's like, hey, they're doing something different. They're out there doing it, and it's like, I've got to tip my hat to everybody involved in these productions because they're doing something. They're doing their passion. It's like, even if they're not the biggest Star Trek fan, hey, they're doing it. They've got something out there, and it's, whether you're doing a green screen film or you're doing a production like this, or you're doing, these are the fan films. These are real good films. I love them. I really do.
For every series or episode like this that gets done, there's like 10 that probably didn't make it.
Right.
They like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then they crap out halfway through and they don't get the script done, or they can't get people together, or a place to shoot, or whatever. And so the fact that these guys were actually able to get through all that is quite the accomplishment.
Well, and that's the thing, like, everybody's got an idea, but the passion and commitment to do it. Oh, this guy, this guy right here, honestly, my favorite actor in the entire thing. Honestly, this guy, favorite actor. This guy, tip of my hat. Bottom line, one of the better actors, and honestly, one of the best actors in a lot. For all the fan films that I've watched, I can't give this guy enough praise. And I've watched, dude, probably about at least 100 fan films. This guy, one of the better actors in all of them. The guy seems so personal. The guy seems so accessible. The guy seems very professional. The guy seems so real. If I didn't know better, I would say that this guy is probably the character that he's... The guy is probably not the character... Oh, I'm getting so tongue twisted because I could give this guy praise all day. This guy seems so real that it wouldn't surprise me if everybody said, no, that's not a character, that's really the guy. That's how real this guy seems.
My acting teacher always told us that the best characters are the ones where the character and the actor merge and you can't tell who's who anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I kind of feel like maybe that's what he did. Like, he threw himself so much into the part that they kind of merged like they're supposed to and got gold, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, him and I have talked a couple of times on Facebook, and honestly, the guy seems so personal, and that's why when I've watched it after I've talked with him, again, pleasure talking to that guy. That's why I think he's so. It just makes watching him that much more better, because it's just like, wow. And I was starstruck talking to him on Facebook,
Right.
And I don't get that way with people, people one leg at a pant, or one leg at a time. Everybody puts their pants on, but that guy so nice. That lady's like, bring it.
Right? Must be a smackdown on the bridge. I think she's gonna win.
Right?
Must be a smackdown on the bridge, and I think she's gonna win.
Right. Now this was a scene where I honestly I liked the idea of it. And this is the only criticism I liked. I wished it had been a little bit serious, because I really loved the idea behind it. For me, it came off a tad 1960s Batman, and I really loved the idea behind it.
I feel okay. So like the guy in the red, the transporter chief, he was good. I mean, he looked like he was ready to go off his rocker.
Right.
And that's really fantastic. And I think maybe what happened here is they maybe tried a little too hard to look a little crazy, and it came off as funny.
Right.
And then they're all kind of laughing at him behind his back. And
see, like,
go ahead.
Like right here, when the dead XO comes in, and they have the heart to heart. If it was played straight, and it would have been really like kind of crippling to the captain to when the dead XO comes in, it would have been like a huge burden lifted off the Commodore's shoulders, like, okay, I can now move forward. Because like right here where everybody's kind of serious, like I buy that. But where kind of before where it was kind of played for kind of almost laughs, it was, I felt like it was a missed opportunity, because it's like the captain who I'm supposed to get behind the whole time. It's like if he's carrying this burden, if they had just played it straight, to me it was just a missed opportunity, and it would have been right here, like, see, like, oh man, it would have been so much more beautiful, like right there where he's like, tell my wife I love her, like, oh man, it would have been so much more beautiful, like I just, man, like they really, like I said, they have a lot of good ideas, and I really love these characters. And man, they got a lot of good stuff here. I think that was a missed opportunity for all the good things the show has. I just wish they had done it just slightly different there, or just pulled back a little bit. Because again, like you said, that engineer, he or the transporter chief, like, he just a little crazier than normal, and everybody else kind of like, nah, play it a little bit more straight, and you guys would have been on it,
I think though, by doing it the way they went, it's just enough. How do I say this? By playing it just a little straighter, like you're saying, I don't know if we would have really caught on that it was supposed to be a dream.
Oh, right, yeah, I can see that.
So by them, I kind of got off the edge, and the XO and the security chief, by them going, yes, it really plays to the dream sequence, and then, like, it was total chaos. One guy's throwing the ship into high warp, it's gonna blow it up. Everyone's like laughing and pointing at him.
And the one lady's knitting in the background, right.
Right, and then when the XO walks in, it's like that calming moment, like that clarity, like, I'm here to fix this.
Right,
and
restoring.
They all settle down. They all go back to their job. They stop moving around as much.
Kind of like he's restoring order.
Exactly, he's restoring order, and then when he leaves, it's like, okay, I restored order, now it's up to you to keep it. Kind of moment.
Right. And see, like right here, where everybody's kind of looking at the captain, this is where I fell in love with these characters, right here. Where everybody's kind of looking at the captain, and where, like, they're just, everybody's kind of having that heart-to-heart. This, honestly, man, when I watched this, because before then I was kind of walking the fence of, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to take with these guys. I'm not sure. But when I saw, like, everybody just kind of looking at this guy, and like, this guy right here, where he's like, man, we'll follow you to hell and back. Like, I loved that line, because I was like, heck yeah, man, that's exactly it. That right there. And that smile right there from the communications officer, it's just, that right there says everything. Where she's like, that says, to me, that smile was family.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who told her to do that, but that whoever like that was like that to me. That smile was family. That smile says everything about this crew. That tells me all I need to know. Again, there's so many things with this crew that I love, dude. That I absolutely love.
Going back to that dream sequence, the only thing I would have loved to have seen is over the shoulders on on Grissom and on the XO, because that's where the story was, and having us on the side, it didn't make us feel a part of the story, and it didn't really make us identify and empathize with Grissom. So I think we had over the shoulders, getting a more straight-on shot of the two of them that would have made the moment so much more powerful.
A little more personal, right? I see that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would say with this, I think the director's cut, honestly, works a lot better than the two individual episodes separately. Because like I said, I've seen both of them several times, probably at least 20 times each. Because again, I do like this series a lot, and seeing this, I've seen this probably twice. The director or the producer's cut. And I think this just works a lot better. To see this as it was intended to be, both of them together, I think it works so much better.
I would have to totally agree with that. There are some technical issues that need to be worked on, but I also know that these guys aren't.
This shot right here, hold on. This shot right here, that group shot of the crew.
Yes.
Beautiful. I love that. That is probably my favorite. If anyone ever pauses and screen caps that, like that is beautiful background screensaver. That shot of the crew, that is like, I mean, do you ever see that shot of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan where everybody's sitting in their chair and they got cast photos and everything, and like that right there, perfect shot. Like that is like perfect. That is perfect. That is good shot. But anyway, go ahead with what you were saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man. I had to get that out there before we lost it.
So what I was saying is there's some technical issues that need to be worked on, but I really like this. I think it's like a diamond in the rough. Just chip away the little pieces and it'll be fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. Like I said, I think the strongest points are the dead XO was awesome, the Admiral was awesome, the engineer and the XO were great. The transporter chief I think was really good. I forgot who was the guy holding the phaser. What did he do? Was he weapons or see? I
thought he was a security guard. I really don't know.
See, and that's the thing. Like, for as much as I've seen this, I'm still unsure of who everybody was, and
there were a few of the characters that weren't really spotlighted, like the communications officer. She had a couple moments. I would love to see a bit more of her, see what she can do.
Right.
And like the security guard, if that's what he is. Sorry, if he isn't.
Right.
But, these other characters that we didn't get to see, and the thing is, it's a series. If you try to show everyone off at the first episode, then it's going to be too much, and you're not going to have a story. You're just going to have like a meet and greet for us.
Right.
But I think if throughout the series, like next episode, if they pick like one of the characters and kind of spotlight them, or a couple of them, then keep going through that, then we'll come to know who they are.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Like if you do one or two really good, then you get them. But if you try to do all 50, then you don't do a lot. So yeah, I certainly understand that. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, like so many of these people here are just so good. And it's like you look at them and you're like, you got so much potential here, and that's what I think this show is about. It's just potential, and I really like this show. I really do, and it's a show that I want to see more, and I want to see where this goes. Like when they leave Space Dock, I really do go, okay, where's the next one? And that's the thing. Like they're supposed to be shooting at Starbase Studios, and I'm excited to have them come down. And work with us. I really am excited to come, because of course I love taking pictures. I love working with people. I want to work with them. And I'm excited as a fan to see where they go. And that was the thing that really got me excited about this whole project is the fact that I am a fan. not a filmmaker, but a fan. And so I'm eager to work with these people. To finally get to meet them. Because when I take my selfies with them, I'm gonna be like, yes, I get to meet Grissom. Yes, I get to meet I get to meet these people.
Yes.
Because it's like they look like a bunch of fun people. I mean, look at this. I mean, who else does this? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've laughed at this show.
I love the guy who ripped off the entire tree. It's so cool. I love it. It's hilarious.
Right. It's a bunch of people having fun, and it's like that's good. It's good time. Good time. I think I think that if people are willing to stick it out, and give the show a shot, I think they'll find that there's something here.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you guys have sat through the audio, obviously you guys are fans. I appreciate it. I know Jeremy appreciates it.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. But we will let you guys go. Keep on geeking on, guys, and keep watching Dreadnought Dominion. And live long and prosper.